Welcome back to Healing in Spanglish, episode 3. It's your hosts, Metzli and Ixchel, your Boyle Heights besties, figuring out what wellness really looks like for us and our people.
So let's get real about healing in all the ways we weren't taught but deeply deserve.
First, let's talk about what our Spanglish word of the week is, which is bistec. This is one that was silly for us.
Yeah, because every time my mom says, "Quieres bistec? Un sándwich de bistec," but then I was thinking about it, I was like, wait, it actually means beef steak. Just so
that
cute.
Is the norm.
Yeah,
even in stores too, though, it is called bistec.
That's formally on paper.
Yeah,
bistec.
It's the formal word now. Yeah, so it's a fun way that actually the community has kind of taken over the term even.
Period.
And then second check-in is, what's your mini healing confession of the week? What are you working on?
Yeah, I think working on staying inside for the weekend, because I've been going out to a lot of community spaces, volunteering, which is great.
It's a busy girl.
Yeah, I've just been feeling a little bit tired, so I think I want to honor that and just rest a little bit more. What about you?
Well said. I also agree.
Yeah,
I've been feeling tired, so it's a good win. But one thing in particular, this past weekend I was working on or trying to implement is I actually bought a physical calendar, a planner. I've been just feeling overwhelmed with the amount of things I need to do in a day. And I have my Google Calendar, but it's not working well for me. So I'm trying something else. So I'm working on time management, working on just going back to square one on paper, trying that out. Got to try different things to see what works best for you. So that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out and relearn what might be best at this point in my life.
So the theme for today is small business, specifically diving into the impacts that they have in our community, ways that we support local businesses, and some tips if you would like to start taking that step, but just diving more into the conversations of why they're so important for us.
Yeah, we are big advocates, obviously, for small businesses in terms of culture, community. Also the local economy. And so we want to talk about all those things because they play such a huge role, especially as Boyle Heights girls.
Yeah.
So my first question to kind of jump into the conversation is, what's a local or small business that feels like a second home to you?
Yeah, I think for me it has to be Uleo Coffee and Juice. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get the name right. Yeah. But they're on Soto. They recently opened up maybe about a year ago. They're a great Guatemalan-owned coffee shop, and they're in a cute little mini mall.
Yeah.
And in the mini mall, there's a barber shop. There's señoras selling flowers. So it just gives a very homey vibe. And the owners are Guatemalan. So yeah, it just I feel like I'm in the motherland when I step into there. Yeah.
Funny enough, I'm actually going today, so I'm really excited.
Are?
It's my first time going inside Uleo, so I'm excited for that.
It's so cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And then for me, a place that feels like home, I really grew up at Las Fotos Project, which is a community organization basically helping young women learn all things around photography. And so it was something that I was experimenting photography on my own my freshman year of high school, and then someone recommended, my teacher Grijalva recommended I be a part of this program, and ever since then I've always been a huge part of the community. And it feels like a second home. A lot of amazing people, mentorship that I ended up having there and still have. So I would say that
we love Las Fotos.
Love Las Fotos.
They're great. Yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about community and culture, right? And so how do small businesses, kind of play into our culture, conservation of it? And so I think a lot of it has been really important to us, because what we've seen with local owners is that a lot of people want to maintain rituals and things that they've done within their own cultures. And small businesses. So we've seen a lot of love poured into their craft. So we just want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. And even something so we were talking about bistec, right? And how even in stores, that's kind of a term now used.
Yeah.
The reason I thought of that is because what's beautiful about small businesses is the reason they feel like home, or the reason they feel third spaces that we want to be in, is because they really exemplify the needs and the sense of community that I think a lot of us look for. And that's because oftentimes small business owners, or at least the hope is, are actually from the community. So the way that culture is being preserved even within these spaces is because the people who work there, who are hired there, who own the place, who design it, tend to be the people who obviously have grown up here, so are kind of sharing their art, like you said, with the space that they create, whether it's a coffee shop, a food spot, a market, whatever it is. So I think it's so cool because it exemplifies what their community is to them. And so that's why it's like, it feels safe there, because it feels like,
the people, like they're your neighbors.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of the times they're people who are in the neighborhood anyway. So it's really fun to be able to be a part of that. Oh, I guess because this is pretty relevant right now, I'm curious, like, can you share examples of how you think small businesses have responded when the community has been under attack or need?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big thing going on right now, and a lot of small businesses are really involved.
I think here in Boyle Heights, I have seen a lot of the small businesses really step up, which has been amazing, because you don't really see that from like larger corporations.
Too for them
exactly.
To, like, depend on this. Yeah.
Right. And, like, unfortunately, when you take a stance on some things, like, you will lose some people, but I think like at the end of the day, it's for a good cause. But I have seen, like, I know Picaresca has hosted like fundraisers. Like they've been, like they've created like a food bank as well. Like Uleu has supported, I know, like a lot of schools and communities, like teachers, they've shown up to like Roosevelt to give out like coffees and pastries, especially with like going with the ongoing ice raids. And I know like Espacio too, I think they've had
a lot of fundraisers.
Fundraisers, exhibits, right, for like local artists. So like I have so much love for the small businesses here. Like each one of them has really stepped up. I think Earthy Corazon has also had like
there's so many
workshops.
Like, we're probably not going to name them all, but it's amazing to see how like small businesses have really, I mean, even People's Yoga had like their fundraiser as well. And so like there's all these amazing spaces that, even though like they have their own shit to take care of to make sure that they can sustain themselves, they're still finding the time and way to like contribute their own resources to the community. I know Wallflower, they're like a pop-up cafe, and they had a whole weekend where like it was donation based. That's it.
Wow.
And all the donations that they made were going to go to, I think it was Chirla. I'm forgetting what specific organization, but it was the immigrant rights organization. But everything was donation based, and everything they made that they gave their like coffee to the community to be able to like raise funds for that. It's amazing. I'm like, y'all depend on your own financial situation, but still find the place and time to like do that. And I think that is super representative of the culture, that's super representative of, even during this hard time, it's amazing to see that like what matters most in these times is people are like really supportive of one another in the community. Like we're trying to help people where they need it, right? Whether it's like our vendors or, families that are struggling. So I think it's beautiful to see that.
Yeah, because you don't see that a lot when you go to like, bigger corps, like chains. They will not. They're very quiet about where they stand.
The Starbucks
next door,
do anything.
McDonald's, like they're very hush-hush, and for many reasons.
Yeah. And it kind of ties into this, but how do you think then that ends up building, like small businesses end up shaping a sense of resilience in the community?
Oh, I mean, I think like it makes me feel like I'm resilient as well to some degrees, right? Because I'm like, I know that like it's been really hard what we're going through, but I also think that I think it just goes to show that their resilience and like all the support that they pour into the community. I just think I'm a firm believer in like what you put out, you get back in. So I have seen like, a lot of these businesses have been really successful. And I think even though they have been taking a lot of stands on certain things, I think we've also seen like a positive impact towards a lot of those businesses. So I do think it's been very beautiful to see that.
You just talked about like bigger businesses, bigger companies. I mean, ones that are pretty well established across the entire country or world. One thing that probably plays into like culture, like preservation, is what you actually feel when you go into these spaces. So I'm curious, like, what do you think is the difference of you walking into like a chain versus you walking into like a small business, hole in the wall space? Like what feels like the differences between the two? Like,
I mean, I guess like the main thing I can think about is like, obviously with like bigger chains, like I don't think they give a shit about their workers. So obviously,
once you start,
when they don't really care about you, like obviously, like how can you expect your employees to like really care about the job? And what I've noticed, like it's an experience when I walk into like these local businesses. Like the art on the walls, it's from a local artist, and it's like a little pop-up store within a small business. The people are welcoming. The people look like me.
They know you by name.
They know you. Like it's a different experience where I just feel so safe and welcome that like it makes me want to come back. It's very different as opposed to like going into like a Starbucks, right? And it's like, by all means, I don't need to feel extremely welcomed at a Starbucks because I know they're not paying you enough. But exactly. Yeah, it's a completely different experience. I like will always go to Picaresca, Uleu. Like, also I think because they love what they do so much and they work so hard to like get it to happen, I think it's just a completely different experience. It's very personalized.
Yeah. No, and I think these are simple things, but also just like touching on the physical experience. I mean, even as simple as like the type of music that's being played is very different. And it's like, especially when you think about what communities you're in, like we're not listening to like, I don't know, I can't even remember what type of music, but I know it's nothing that I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Like, wow. Like, you know, when I go into like Anelo or something, I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm like at a reggaeton party or something. So it's like, it just feels like even those little touches feel like home because I'm like, this is the music that we listen to.
Yeah.
It's bilingual. Like you can see things in English and Spanish. You can see things that, like you said, like the personal touches that are there.
Yeah.
The artists that are there, the murals or the paintings or the drawings. And so, it's just like drastically different. I think also, when something becomes a chain, like, it loses its personal touch. Like,
for sure.
And also when it's obviously not founded by a person who's from the community. I mean, they don't really care. They don't really understand.
Small businesses really like brand themselves on like being supportive to the community. It's a completely different experience.
Yeah. Also, I did want to add that one of the amazing ways that I've seen small businesses also help preserve culture and like that sense of community is also through like their drinks. Like, for example, Akurukame has ¿cómo se llama? It's like a drink right now.
Cacao?
No, is it cacao? No.
Cacao?
No, it's a candy. It's like a white candy, and he has is it
me?
No, it's something with the C, but it's like checking their Instagram right now to see. Basically, he has this drink that's using a traditional Mexican candy.
Is it the circle one?
Yeah.
What the heck? Mazapan?
No, cocada.
Oh, cocada.
Cocada, yes. Cocada.
Oh.
Cocada. You can't even see it. Point is, like, this is an example of, I think, also a way that they preserve culture. He was actually sharing with me that the reason he has a drink called cocada is because that candy he grew up with in Mexico City, although it does not originate from there, he said, it's something he grew up with. And so it's so cool to see that, like, he's using things that are, like, meaningful to him, and I'm sure other people who also grew up with those things. It's preserving that experience. It's not just a regular schmegular coffee. It's like a coffee with that sense of like childhood. And another person who does that really amazingly is Cafe Niña. Have you been?
Oh, I love Cafe Niña.
Yeah, yes. Her whole story is based off of drinks that her grandma, either like candies or sweets that her grandma kind of like raised her with or like loved and enjoyed. And so I think it's beautiful how she has a bunch of different drinks that are like based on a childhood memory that she has. And I'm like, those are things that we all relate to. Like,
exactly.
Whether it's, and people do this all the time, right? Like even, or we think about Cafe, like they're a Oaxacan owned spot and they have drinks based on like Oaxaca and what like is culturally relevant to them. And so I think that's a great way also of preserving culture. Like as we like shift into this humongous like world of like obsession with coffee.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like still preserving like, okay, it's not just regular coffee. It's coffee with like a meaning of like our own story or identity. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is really crazy. Yeah. I was thinking about, you made me think too. I think I recently tried the matcha at Picaresca, but the name of it is Evergreen Matcha, I think. And I think it's so cute because I'm like, I mean, we used to run around Evergreen.
Evergreen is like a spot that you just know in East LA, Boyle Heights. So exactly.
It's very sweet. Like I love that they have the autonomy to do something like that, right? Because they're local and they're small. They don't have to live up to like the big corporate brand. So I think that's great. Like it makes me just want to keep going.
Yeah, I love it. The drinks are they do it so creatively. So I love that part about it. Okay, the other question I had for you was, how do you think like small businesses preserve culture in neighborhoods experiencing gentrification? Obviously, we've dealt with that luckily the community has done well in fighting back and resisting that, but it's still not 100% that way. And also a lot of surrounding communities, when we think about like Echo Park, HP,
Lincoln Heights.
Like they are different.
They're struggling.
So
yeah. I mean, I think we were having this conversation, right, about like what makes Boyle Heights special, and I think like what we have seen is like this level of resilience that I really feel like is very unique, because we have taken this step to, you know, really come out there for our community. And I think what people in the community have seen is like, well, obviously these crazy investors are coming in and want to, you know, like start up their new like cute coffee shop. But obviously people have like stepped up and bought out the buildings, and like to start their coffee shops like Picaresca, Uleu, like all those places. So I think it has been in its own way combating gentrification, obviously, right? Because it's still investing within the same community.
Also, sorry, to clarify what you're talking about. You're talking about how there are like community organizations or initiatives that are buying out multiple
yes,
right?
Yes and no.
Sort of. Oh, okay.
So like obviously there's people that are like, you know, putting all their hard-earned earnings into buying. But then we can also talk about inclusive action.
Yes, exactly.
Which I recently learned that what they've been trying to do is buy out a lot of spaces in Boyle Heights, and they're basically the landlords to the people who end up like buying within the community, which I think
so that it's leased, and like there's landlords who understand and aren't trying to like
take people over. Exactly. So I think like I haven't seen like any, you know, like crazy new hip like gentrified like location here, and I think that's been like one of the greatest like accomplishments I think that we can say. But it's
unfortunate that it happening though in a lot
it has happened in a lot of places, and we're really grateful that we haven't got into that place. But you know, a lot of it has been like people want to step up. Like a lot of these small businesses are the reasons we haven't been experiencing a lot of it.
No, definitely. And one thing that I was telling Michelle about was that in college, I actually had a class where they were talking about Boyle Heights. And I was like, what the hell? Like, we were talking about it in our class. And it was because it was being used as an example that is exemplary of being able to resist, or at least, you know, make a great attempt of being able to preserve culture and prevent more gentrification from happening. So I was like so honored when they said, I was like, I'm from Boyle Heights.
Thank you. My pleasure.
But yeah, things like the Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council and different places that really like are involved with seeing who's coming in and out.
We don't play about our people in our community. Like I like think on that note, like I remember in high school when a lot of like I think like artsy area, like the factories. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was definitely very part of like Boyle Heights. And I remember there was a group called, I think, Defend Boyle Heights. Dude, they were great. Like they would stay up until midnight, like basically like protesting outside of those spaces. And they ended up pushing out the people who wanted to start like their, you know, like art studios out of there. So there's a long history of like art people really stepping up for the community.
Boyle Heights is making history for sure. Continues to. Next thing we wanted to talk about was a little bit more on like the representation and ownership of small businesses. So one of the questions or things that I wanted to talk about was how we're just, you know, in general, both on the side of small business owners and who they represent. We kind of touched on this a little bit, but also how important it is to have these small businesses be representative of our own community. So kind of like an easy, you know, question to get into is, why does it feel like it's different to buy from a business where you know the owner? Like what makes, I think it's pretty obvious, but but what makes it special? Like, why does it feel like that ownership coming from like someone who might be a community member feel different?
I think for me, it's very important just knowing like where my products are coming from, right? Or anything that I purchase. I think it's more personalized. I know the stories behind it. I know the resilience behind it, how hard it was for them to get there. And I think like it's just very beautiful to see that like somebody is so passionate. And I think it's really hard to be like an entrepreneur and start your small business in this country, but to see somebody that looks like me, like be able to do it, like it's just amazing. Like, of course I want to support you you. Why would I want to go and support like a corporation that I don't even know who the hell the owner is, right? And don't care about their workers. So I think that for me, it's important. Like I care about like where my product comes from. Like, is it ethical? Like, where do they stand on certain things? Like, you know, it is a little bit harder to like kind of go into that research, but at least for me, I can say that it's a step that I'm willing to take to support local businesses.
And I agree. I think a lot of the things that I think about are like where our own values are at, and like you said, like ethical wise or whatever, like people, just their stories and what things I align with or what drives me to support them. And so I agree, like when it comes to like, if I am able to support someone who's literally down the street from me, who I know this could make a huge difference, knowing how hard they work to make this dream possible. And a lot of them have these like dreams of starting a coffee shop. Like it's beautiful to hear their stories. So I'm like, why not pour it back into people who really are trying to make it happen? And you know, some chains, right? Like when we think about Gintaco, or we think about like, you know, other ones that like they started from the bottom. They started with just a truck. Amazing. But I think then it's a matter of like wanting to support those that are up and coming too. Now that they're established, that's amazing and they're doing great. Now it's like we want to pour into the ones that like are trying to like build themselves from scratch for their first 2 years. And, you know, I can't help but think like drinks just taste better.
They do.
When you like feel connected to your drink. That's like with food, you know, like when you eat from like a hole in the wall, I'm like, I feel this tastes so much better. And maybe I think it's like partly probably psychological, but I think it's partly like, I truly believe the love that goes into making a product, whether it's food or a drink or an experience, like a community organization, it feels different. Like I've literally read books where it talks about the way you create food, like the energy that you put into the food really plays out to how people experience it. Might sound cliche to some, but I really think it's true. Like I really think like a hole in the wall, it's just so great because a lot of these people make it with like the intention of like really wanting people to have a good experience and like a meaningful one. So
no, that's real. No, it's real. Like food always tastes better when there's so much love tied to it
too. I'm like, this is so good.
So delicious. So a question for you. How do you think small businesses contribute to generational wealth in our communities?
Well, for one, I think individually for themselves, the fact that they're building a business from scratch, they have like, what I would hope is like the full assets of building a business and that and having that ownership. I mean, first of all, that's hopefully building themselves generational wealth, right, within their own families. But I think oftentimes when we think about, who they're employing, who they're, where their taxes are going, simply where they're pouring their money into, right, like where they're getting their products, their resources, their tortillas, their coffee beans, everything. It's usually pouring back into the community. So in return, as we pour into them as an individual like place, they then pour into other people to continue to make that happen. So I think it's like a community effort where like we pour into them and actually that money comes back to us, whether it's us directly or someone in the community still. So I think that's building wealth in the sense of like we are financially supporting one another. We're making, if like when I think about on First Street, ¿cómo se llama? Was it? We were talking about when we went to Boyle Heights Bridge Runners, the tortilleria place. They had pink tortillas, and you were like, "Oh, like they have pink tortillas,
pink and bougie."
But they give the tortillas to Pink and Bougie, and Pink and Bougie employs them to get the tortillas.
The one right across.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them.
So it's cool because they're literally Pink and Bougie. We pour into like a place owned by like a Latina from the community. And in return, she's buying her tortillas from the place across the street too. Exactly. So it's like a whole cycle of building wealth among each other. And so, and then at the end of the day too, where we put our money also contributes to, I mean, even on a greater level, policy wise and things continuing to exist. So where we put our money also is contributing to those things. So the more money we give to like something like a big business, the richer they're going to get, the more control they're going to have. So I think at the end of the day, like we are building wealth within ourselves when we are giving money to our own community, and it's like a whole cycle. So
I agree.
It's a no-brainer.
And I mean, I think like for the families themselves, like they're building generational wealth. Like it's hard, right? Like so they're building their own business and hopefully passing it down and helping their entire lineage, right? Which is hard, and it's like, a lot of us don't get that privilege. Like, you know, obviously you have to be of a certain socioeconomic class and look a certain way. So it's a very different experience for us. And it's like, why not support these people?
I know Chalios. I don't know if you've been to Chalios. They're on First Street. It's a birria spot. And they have a chain. They're now a chain, or sort of a chain, you know, like kind of like Itaco, like a few spots. The dad gifted different locations to different kids that he has. Wow. So that was literally building the generational wealth where they have a whole restaurant they can run. Wow. So I thought that was cool because they have literally a bunch of locations now, and he was able to now give control to his kids to be able to take that over. So I think it's amazing to see that.
Yeah. That's great. I don't think I've been there. Is it close to Espacio?
It's so good. It's close to Anhelo. It's across the street from Anhelo by Indiana Station.
Yeah.
Google. Gotta go there. You gotta go there. They have it's a Mexican restaurant. Yeah, but they're really known for their
yeah.
But I was gonna say, I mean, other than generational wealth, I think also like this idea of like generational empowerment is also a huge thing. I was talking to Ikshad also about the fact that also just like simply seeing them build generational wealth for themselves is empowering for a lot of us as like community members to see that that's possible, know these people personally, and know, you know, when you go into a big business, you don't know the story, you don't, you know, and so you don't necessarily think like, oh, like now I have the idea to do this myself. Not necessarily, right? But when you see a small business be successful and live out their dreams that they've always wanted to, it's like, oh shoot, I could do that too. So I feel like also it helps us start to create like a sense of belief in ourselves, builds confidence because we see someone doing it. I think it's like a bigger and growing thing that like people are building their own individual businesses now, you know, own arts and own, you know, crafts and things that they're putting out there. And I think that is a result partly of seeing other people do it in the community.
And it's important. Representation, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Can you share examples of businesses you admire? Right? We talked about some before that you think that have taught us about resilience.
Yeah, I think one that really comes to mind is Un Solo Sol. You know, they're very family owned. They're a really small business. You know, they have like short hours sometimes, but they've been standing there for a really long time. And I know recently they have been struggling with, you know, keeping up with rent, right? But I think that it's been beautiful that honestly they're living like month by month. Like they don't know like within the next month if they're going to be gone. But I think that they always try their best to, you know, take on like social media and like post on there. And I know that like also a lot of like community organizations like have been catering from Un Solo Sol. So it just goes to show that like you know, there's still things that we can do even at like our worst times. And it's just so great to still see them there. And I hope that they're still there. Like if you really want to support, I think Un Solo Sol would be like one of the greatest places to go.
And the amazing thing about them too is that they actually actively ask for help. And that's also, I think, a form of resilience. Like we don't usually culturally ask for help like that. And they are outwardly asking for it in order to sustain themselves. So I admire them for that. And they're making that for, like you said, to not only like sustain themselves, but they still advocate for other local orgs. They actually promote and share like on their account too, like news and things that is going on in the community. So I think that's beautiful. And one that I think about too, like Rearte, which is like a bookstore that was a part of, like across the street of Las Fotos project. They had to close down, but she didn't take that as like, okay, I can't, you know, do what I'm doing. So she ended up now sharing a space with like another local business to be able to still exist, even if it's not in the same place because of the landlord. Long story. But I think it's so beautiful to see that, like, even though there's like a lot of factors and a lot of things that are preventing our community from like continue to, you know, flourish, there's still ways that people are like helping support each other and making it possible. I admire a lot of them.
And I also think about Milpa Kitchen, right? Like they have like different owners. And
it's like 3-in-1,
right?
Quite literally Milpa.
And like I think that's really great, right? They're coming together and being like, let's do this together.
I mean, that's a big popular thing now, right? People are like collaborating spaces to sustain each other.
I think it's great. And I think it's really sad at the same time, right? Because like I really wish that wasn't the case, but I think it also, I don't know, I just think it goes to show how beautiful people are willing to
do what they need to do. I mean, so many examples. Las Fotos project rents out their space as like a birthday party space to create another stream of income. So there's a lot of different ways to be able to do that. Or even Cake Girl, the one you need to go to. They're in the St. Louis pharmacy. Like, they're in a pharmacy, but that's helping each other. They're bringing business to each other, but they're also helping each other financially, just like rent. So there's a lot of creativity that they're
getting.
We are not experts by any means when it comes to like the numbers, but we have seen this a bit from our experience, and we also like did a little bit of research about like data points and things that we saw. And so I guess something that I wanted to talk about was like how small businesses feed into the local economy and the local job market compared to like bigger businesses, right? And I think something important that I think about is, like I had said earlier, small businesses tend to employ people from the community. That's oftentimes like the case. Like a lot of people, I mean, first of all, in our community, we have a lot of Spanish speakers. So you already need someone who is bilingual. And so naturally you're going to hire people who are bilingual. And that tends to be people who are in our community. So I think there's a lot of ways where like small businesses will employ people locally because they understand their community best, their needs best. And so it helps create more jobs for people who are here directly, like a part of their, neighborhood and whatnot. And we also looked at some data points. There's like this thing called the local multiplier effect. And a stat that we found was that for every $100 that you spend at a local business, around $68 stay in the community, compared to only about $43 when spent at a chain. And that's because when you think about local owners, they bank locally. So they might bank at places that are also helping contribute to our economy locally. They also hire locally, like I said, and they also often buy from other local businesses, how we were talking about. So it's kind of like a cycle there. Or even when we think about like contributing to city tax, that city tax is going into our neighborhoods, right? For our schools, our education, our libraries, etc. So it's pretty obvious to me, but there's data to back it up.
So another thing we kind of wanted to touch on is like how choosing to support local businesses influence the health of our economy, right? And like specifically within our neighborhoods. And, something we touched on earlier was like gentrification, right? So we see a lot of these local businesses coming out, starting their own businesses and kind of, being the people taking ownership before somebody else comes in, that can easily purchase a building. So it's been great to see that. And I hope that we see more of that, even though I know it's been really hard, right? For a lot of businesses that have been long standing, like I think about JNF, right? I recently went in there to buy like some nachos, and I was talking to the owner and I was just kind of like, hey, like, how's it going? He's like, honestly, we've been struggling. Like there's some weeks where we make nothing. So it's really hard. But I think a lot of them are trying their best. And then I think another place that we can talk about is Acurúcame, right? Like their story, right? Like if they didn't transform their place into a coffee shop, then like we probably would have seen like a big investor come in and buy that space out, but they were able to change that business and make it into like a sweet coffee shop that they've dreamed of for so long. But it's really important. Like I think it plays a really big role into our economy. We've seen a lot of businesses do really well right now, and honestly it's been thanks to you guys who show up, support our community, right? It's really important to hopefully combat gentrification, even though it's an everyday issue.
I think something that I did want to tie back to as we close out this episode is like, okay, like we said, we care a lot about where we put our money into, right? And that's super important to us. And we want to pour it back into our community and the community businesses. But it's also important for us to acknowledge like also the privilege that comes with being able to do that. Because the reality is, and we want to talk a little bit about this, about why people choose big businesses. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people in their heart want to support local businesses. Like I think that would be a preference. Just like I think a lot of us rather buy products from someone in our community or a neighbor, right? But a lot of the times there's a lot of factors like convenience, affordability, accessibility that play into it.
Time, right? How fast they give you products.
And so we also want to acknowledge like, yes, it may be that like Ixchel and I are able to and are advocating for these things, and we want to advocate for supporting our small businesses, but we also want to acknowledge on the other side of things that it's not always the most convenient thing for people. And sometimes convenience is all that's important for people because that's just what they need in the moment, especially parents or people, struggling financially much more, with having dependents. I can understand that it's not so simple to be like, well, I'm going to drive to this place to go get this instead of buy it from Amazon. Or I need to get dinner for my kids and I'm going to get McDonald's because they freaking give you like these crazy deals. I was telling her like buy $1 worth of something at McDonald's, you get free chicken nuggets. Like, what? Like, how could you not say yes to that as someone who's financially struggling and just needs something to put, put on a plate or feed kids or whatever it is, right? And so I'm like, the convenience sometimes and the affordability is unfortunately like, how could you not choose that, right? And so I think that's also important for us to acknowledge in that sense too.
It's not definitely like a stance like we all can take, right? And we do want to acknowledge like the privilege that comes with that. And I think both of us are pretty aware that we have a lot of privilege to make those intentional choices. And it's hard, right? Like Matsi said, it's like, how can you say no to a deal like that, right? Especially when how expensive things are in LA. So we completely get it. And, we wish we lived in a world where that was feasible for everybody, but we understand that like, that's not something everybody can do.
And I think even we struggle with some things.
No, for sure.
Even beyond, right, coffee shops, let's say, and being able to make your own coffee or getting one that's like cheaper because it's a chain. I think when we think about even in our own generation, a lot of us struggle with like putting our money into things that like, I think convenience is a big one, right? When we think about Amazon or we think about, any of the basic ones that a lot of people, Uber Eats, right? Like any of these like apps where you can order food from. When we think about the convenience, I think Amazon and Uber Eats, et cetera, all of those Postmates, et cetera, are privileges, like to be able to, technology wise, the fees that come with it wise, being able to spend things just freely, Amazon, things that you just want, etc. Those are privileges. So for people who are more just like spending because it's like convenient, it can come faster, even if that's not necessarily that you need to do it that way. It is hard to fight convenience. Like as our technology evolves and how quick it is, like you were saying, you got like an Amazon package the same day.
Oh my God, I know. And I felt so guilty.
Like it's crazy how fast that can happen. And like, oh my God, that is not the same case for everyone in this world. It's like,
exactly.
It's not. And so it's interesting also to think about convenience because a lot of the times too, like, let's say I have a busy day at work and I'm super exhausted. I'm like, I just want to order food. Like how do you like figure out your value then? We're like, okay, I need rest. And right now I don't want to make food or I don't want to have to go buy it versus like it being able to be brought to you. Like it's a weird one where like, I think it, at the end of the day, has a lot to do with like, okay, thinking about where you could do that, right? Whether it's like, okay, where I could do that is where I spend and buy my groceries, right? Or buy my food on the weekends. Like you figure out what works best for you and what you are able to work with, right, in your own individual life. Because for some, like, to do it all is really hard in this time and this day and age. Like you can't, everything is like really hard. Like where we buy our clothes too, a lot of people like, oh well, it's so cheap to buy it on Shein, or it's so cheap when we can thrift and we could buy locally. And so I think it's a matter of like starting somewhere and trying to challenge yourself to do that in one way and thinking about your values and what you're trying to support and trying to further that little by little. But it doesn't have to be like from
all at once,
day to night, but trying to do that little by little. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Like,
I mean,
being able to make those shifts.
I'm on the same boat, right? Like, unfortunately, I do have to, sometimes choose convenience, like you were saying, and it sucks. I think the world we live in, capitalism is infiltrated into everything, and as much as we would love to take a big stance, like it's unavoidable. So it's hard. I mean, like Nancy said, like you could take some baby steps. I think we try our best to do it on a daily basis, but like we're products of those systems, so we ourselves also will choose sometimes to buy things that are easier and more convenient for us. But it's a work in progress.
And there's a lot of factors, like we said. So as we talk about this and talk about advocating for small businesses and supporting them, yes, and like please do that when you can, and we want to continue doing that in our own lives. But we also understand there are some people who that's not, unfortunately, like what the priority can be at this moment, or also like with just where we live, like it's hard to combat that. Even as I think about like plant-based too, like eating, I'm like, we're surrounded by a bunch of food options that are not maybe what I'm trying to eat, right? And so it's a struggle regardless where we put our money, what we're wearing, what where we're shopping, what spaces we're in, the big stores that we buy in, right, from Home Depot to Target to etc. Right? It's all really difficult. So that's why I'm like, I want to put emphasis on you do what you can and like make steps in that direction to help get closer to being able to contribute more to like our local and small businesses where you're able to, and that's a work in progress always, I feel, at least for me it is. I don't know, what are some of the ways that you like support locally, whether it's like some of the things that you do or that you would recommend people do? The obvious is obviously going and shopping.
Also, like posting on social media, right?
Big one. We have the privilege to be able to do that.
Exactly. Like a lot of these businesses post a lot about community resources, like things that they're going to be hosting, events. So you not only like invest in like what you're buying, but there's also a lot of opportunities that come with that. I know like Picaresca has like, what do you call it when you make coffee? Like the people that make coffee.
Baristas.
They have like barista competitions.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and it's actually so cute. Like they all come together. They do like competitions. It's like a big thing.
That's cute. Okay.
Yeah, so like it's more than that, right? So those are some of my steps, sharing, local businesses, especially
awareness.
The newer ones.
They just need awareness.
Yeah, like Un Solo Sol. Like I know people know it's there, but like they don't really have a big social media space. So like just making sure we're amplifying the voices of businesses.
Yeah, such an easy way we can do it. Literally, when you go eat at one of these places, tag them on Instagram. Shout them out. Give them your recs. People trust others who have been there. And so when you can advocate for a place, they're going to want to shop from there. So I think when you can do that, as simple as it is, like it can go a long way to tag one, to reshare a post, to any of that will really feed into it. I think also like some simple things that I was thinking about were, okay, tip if you can, especially if you're sitting in the place, like literally that should be your way of paying to sit there. Like that is their electricity, that is their, their water that they're giving, everything. And so tip if you can. I feel like that's important if you're able to, because that goes obviously to the baristas. And one thing that I did also want to add was that my friend did this specifically he in college was doing this for barbershops and like hair salons, because he has skills in web design, and so he was actually helping them make websites.
That's so sweet.
And I was like, if you have a skill that can be really beneficial for a small business, and you have the capacity, like he did, it was helping him gain experience. He got testimonials out of it. Like it was a win-win. He was getting that, but also he was helping create like these platforms for them that they had no idea how to use. And so I thought that was a great idea. And so that can go for anything, right? When we think about like if you have a social media following or you have people who are in the community, share them out like that. That's important. And so use your skills, whether it's photography. I mean, if you know how to take pictures, you can help update their photos. Like don't be afraid to ask them like how you can support them if you have like a skill that you can offer. I mean, it's a great passion project and a great way to like also build your own resume or whatever it is to be able to build that. So
I think another one too is like talking about the places you support at your workspace, right? Because a lot of people will buy lunch or dinner, right? And so being like, hey, try this place. Like I've said it to a lot of my coworkers and they've gone to like the local businesses.
Exactly.
So it's been like good for them. And at least for us, we're a nonprofit. So what we try to do is like when we get food catered, like when I have programs with my kids, I try to not choose like a big chain, even though it's convenience. I like to use like, there's a senora across the street who like runs her own business. So like just trying to support in like these very small ways, like in your workspace. I think it's also a really good one.
No, that's a really important one. And I mean, I have a lot of friends that work in the corporate spaces and I'm like, all right, if y'all have money, if you're going to buy something, try to cater from like people locally so you can advocate for that. And that's what I always tell people who work in corporate spaces, like support like a business that you can support in that way better. So that can help them a lot.
And it tastes better.
It tastes way better. Yeah. And then I think also personally, when you're shopping for gifts for people, for birthdays, anniversaries, celebrations, whatever it is. Yeah. Also such a more meaningful gift, at least to me, when someone buys it. Every time someone tells me like, oh, I know you would like this because it's from a small business. I'm like, wait, how did you know? like that's totally, like, it just feels so much more special that like people make that effort. So like if you're going to buy a gift card for someone, buy it from your favorite local coffee shop. Yeah. Buy it from like a community space that you really like. And so I think that's also a great way, like, pour into it also with like how you're gifting people. I think that's something that's obviously happening year round. Mother's Day, go buy flowers from your vendors. Like there's such simple ways, but like instead of buying it from, a Trader Joe's or something, like you can buy it from the person down the street. Who, is it $5 more? Is it really going to make that big of a difference to you? If so, by all means. Yeah. But if it's not, and you have the ability to do that, I know I will, because I'm like, that's going into someone who can send them home sooner, So
someone who cares about me. Yeah.
Exactly. Also, leaving reviews is also really important. Yes. Oftentimes, like on Yelp, on Google, whatever, Facebook, whatever platforms that they have like their reviews on, that goes a long way, because then it helps more people come visit. People, like I said, trust people who've been there, who have the experience, and so that just helps with their ratings of getting like a good reputation. And so if you are able to, that literally takes like 5 minutes, and that's free. You can do that on Yelp.
$3.99.
Yeah, so I think that's a great way to, like, if you're able to, you can leave reviews.
Yeah.
All I have to say is that there's so many ways that you can go about it, whether it's monetary, whether it's through a skill you have, whether it's
in your
writing, your workspace.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways that you can continue to advocate for small businesses, and they all go such a long way because they all really help contribute to just bringing more business to all our orgs. And this goes for street vendors as well. This goes for coffee shops, but also food places, for community orgs, right? Like Casa 0101 or like Las Fotos Project, Espacio, right? And so this goes for all of them. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of different ways that you can help contribute to whatever your capacity is. All right, so now to close out the episode, we're gonna do a little fun activity. We're gonna do give me your favorite spot in each category activity. All right, this will be a quick speed round. Favorite coffee spot?
Picaresca.
Okay, Anelo. Favorite taco spot?
Tacos Pecas.
I might get hate for this, but Taco. Favorite pastries or desserts?
Gigi's Cafe and Bakery.
I still have to go, but it's so good.
So good.
For me, Cake Girl.
Cake Girl.
It's like allergy free in every way. It's strawberry matcha cupcakes.
Yeah.
Favorite sandwich spot?
Semitas Poblanas.
Solid.
Yeah.
For me, it's J&F ice cream shop, but they have tortas there. That's gonna be my sandwich. Okay.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. Buying a gift for someone.
El Mercadito.
Solid.
Yeah.
For me, Espacio.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the shirts. I live for it there. Okay. Books.
Libros, Schmibros.
Yeah. There's so many bookstores. There's like other books, but I put Rearte because I've had a lot of great experiences there too with the owner. Clothes.
The Señoras on Cesar Chavez. They be posted up every day on the weekends. I got in jeans for like $2, you guys. They're like, damn, where do you get that? I was like, Boyle Heights.
Chavez.
Sorry, you just gotta be there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, for me, it's solid. For me, also in the making, it's like a local thrift store that I was talking about. Employs like foster youth, low income students in the community. I love it. They have really cute clothes that they actually go and pick out, like the kids, and bring it in. So.
I love that.
Date spot.
Casa Fina.
Yeah,
it's super cute. It's cute. Yeah,
it's pretty. Yeah, I put El Mercadito Night Market.
That's so cute.
Lots of food, vibes, music. I could take Tonali.
Period.
Favorite community art space?
Self-help graphics.
Yeah, and they're coming. They're under construction.
Yeah,
More
they're cooking.
Come. Yeah,
look at their page.
Yeah, I put Casa 0101. It's a live arts theater spot where like youth or like the actors. It's so fun. They have so many cool things. Yeah, I love it.
That's a good date spot too.
It is a good date spot, yeah. Okay, and then last one, favorite grocery store.
Mine is Mazatlan Market on First Street in front of that Chase.
Yeah, I need to go now.
Dude, yeah, he brings his stuff from Mexico. Like my mom will get some of the best prices there, and it's just great.
Yeah, I gotta shop more like locally small little markets because right now I go to like your big, Vallarta, Northgates. I mean, they're still great stores and have everything I need, but yeah, I gotta check out.
But which one's yours?
Oh, Northgate.
Okay.
That's the closest one. But they're also great. I mean, they did some stuff also around like when the ice raids were happening. So props to them. Cool. Okay. Now we're gonna do our little closeout. Shout out a local small business this week. Yeah. What business do you have that you want to shout out that you either visited recently or just want to mention?
I want to shout out Gigi's Cafe and Bakery. They're like near Koreatown, Filipino town. They're Cuban-based bakery.
Nice.
It's basically like Imagine Portos, but like at a small business.
There's your answer.
No, literally, I've been bringing the guava cakes to like our get-togethers.
Potato ball.
Those potato
really
balls
good.
too.
No, it's literally Portos.
It's Portos
locally
small. Like it's all family owned. It's super cute. Yeah.
It's on my list to go check them out, but yeah, she's already brought me the stuff and amazing.
I got them.
I definitely prefer. Yeah. For me, I would say I was going to shout out the East LA Farmers Market / the Goddess Mercado. I just went this weekend. They had an East Los book festival.
Oh yeah,
and it was really cute. They like bring out so many local writers, poets, etc. And yeah, it was amazing. It was just lots of local vendors. My tia was even selling there. She sells desserts. Yeah, so. They have the East LA Farmers Market every Saturday morning right there at the East LA Library. But then the Goddess Mercado has events every month there. Okay. So they have like triple the amount of vendors that month, and they have different themes like every single month. So this month was like on books.
Okay. I have to go. I have yet to go.
It's really fun. They have a lot of vendors, a lot of great food. Yeah, that would be my rec. And then the last thing is, what is your one wellness tip for the week?
Day.
Or the day, yeah.
Sorry, the day.
The day.
Yeah, I think going to bed early too. Yeah. Being more mindful of that and just being devoted to it because girl, I'm sorry, but I am a doom scroller, so it sucks. So also like get off the phone.
Yeah. Mine is actually the same because I think we both are struggling with sleep recently. But
no, we're tired.
Yeah, I would say mine is respecting my sleep more. I literally have an alarm on my phone that goes off at 9:15 p.m.
That's so smart.
To start to transition into sleep mode. And something that helps me is like literally reading a book, like a physical book, because I will also then scroll. But when I have a book, I get tired and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to sleep. It's like, so respect your sleep. That is the theme for today, this week. Sleep earlier.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for holding space with us today. If this episode spoke to you, feel free to share it with your sisters, your primas, or anybody that you know would benefit from this.
Yeah. Healing is super personal, but it's also very collective. So we're really excited to be doing this with you. Please follow us on Instagram at Healing in Spanglish to keep the conversation going. We'll have some things coming up soon. And also, wherever you're listening, please subscribe to help support us, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. And just thank you so much for listening today.
Hasta la próxima, con mucho amor.